Jason, if you don't know Jason, I'm pretty sure you do, but Jason Anthony is the voice actor for over 20 different characters in Hogwarts Legacy. Also the voice of tons of beloved characters from other games and even some movies. How did you end up being cast as so many characters in Hogwarts Legacy?
Yeah, it's not unusual. Is it? Oh, well, it is for that many, but it's not unusual to do multi-characters in games. In fact, it's pretty standard to do at least 3 or 4 characters in a video game. Typically because especially the open world games, they're so vast in landscapes, environments and characters. But yeah, 20 was quite a lot. I think because I originally got an audition for Nearly Headless Nick. That was my very first character. And of course, it's not unusual, as I say, once you start recording on a new video game, they try to throw a few characters at you in the moment sometimes, and say, hey, could you have a try at this? And that's pretty much, it was quite organic with Hogwarts Legacy. There were a few others, big characters, like the Sorting Hat and Victor Rookwood and Peeves, that then I auditioned again and put in a voice sample, and it went through all the process within Avalanche and Warner Brothers. But because it was all recorded here, some of the kids were recorded via the UK. Sebastian Sallow, of course. Alfie Nugent was recorded in the UK. But all of the adult characters, we were all recorded here in Los Angeles. So there wasn't as rich a casting pool, if you like. But nonetheless, there were about 3 or 4 of us that have a repertoire of voices. We have versatility, and quite rightly so, they just took advantage of that and kept throwing different characters. Can you do this? Can you do that? It just sort of slowly added up. We worked on this for 5 or 6 years. So over that period of time, new characters were being fleshed out, new quests were being written. And, as I say, once you're in with a production and they know you're reliable, they know you can deliver, they know you're good, why not use us? So, and that's kind of how it evolved, very organically. And and then the numbers just went up and up and up and up. And it's like, wow, over 20.
And were you surprised by the fans' reactions to you and all your characters in Hogwarts Legacy? Or were you kind of warned beforehand that Hogwarts Legacy was probably going to be a pretty big deal?
I knew it was going to be a big game. I was very privileged to see some of the early game play, and it was just like breathtaking. And I thought, wow, if this continues, this is going to be huge. I mean, just the work and time they put into just creating Hogwarts, the halls of Hogwarts, ins and outs of every single part of Hogwarts. It was just stunning. It was absolutely beautiful. The environments, they actually sent a team to Scotland. Some of the developers, they sent them to Scotland because Scotland has a very different landscape to the rest of the UK, and they wanted to make it as authentic as possible. The weather, especially in Scotland, is very different to a lot of the UK. It's a lot colder, it's a lot wetter, grey skies, and they really, really did their research. I cannot sing their praises high enough. The incredible team at Avalanche. It put my mind at ease of it wasn't necessarily that it was going to be successful, how successful. I knew that very early on, I thought this is going to be really, really good. It's just how good. And that's what has been a very, very pleasant surprise. Over 40 million games sold now, which is just stunning. And the gaming community is still thriving, and people are still discovering the game. And it is one of those games, fortunately, that you can just keep playing and discovering new things.
Did you have the chance to meet any of the other voice actors in Hogwarts Legacy, and are you still in touch with them?
Briefly, it's voice acting especially it's a funny world because unfortunately very little is recorded as an ensemble group. I met with a few voice actors and actors during mocap sessions. That's why I love doing mocap so much, because that's where you actually get to meet people and actually play the scene out for real. So all my other scenes, a lot of the scenes were all recorded separately. And that's not unusual either. It's not unusual. It's, I don't even want to say it's a sad reality, but it is in a way because, you know, you just love acting and, you know, it's lovely to work opposite other actors and that. But no, unfortunately, you don't get to meet a lot of the other actors in video games, especially unless you're doing the mocap, of course. But those are a lot of the cut scenes, which are 2 or 3 minute scenes. So it's, you know, a handful of days here and there. But yeah, I wish we did. I wish we were all in a room together. And I guess that's how a lot of people kind of imagine that's how it plays out. But unfortunately, it doesn't.
You play over 20 characters in the game, but if there was just one more character you could voice, which one would you pick?
What? Which one would I pick? Gosh, that's a good question. I really, even though I played a poltergeist with Peeves, I really liked the haunted house quest and the poltergeist who runs that roost. I would have liked to do that as well, just because it was just they're just so much fun characters to play, this sort of the antagonist and that. So yeah, I'd definitely have some more of poltergeist action.
What do you think your favorite voice line in the game is?
No need for such theatrics. Oh, that, you know, for me, that just you know, that sums up Rookwood, or you know, the whole thing. But it's just it's a line that never gets old for me.
What was your inspiration for voicing that character?
Lucius Malfoy. I always had Lucius Malfoy in mind. His obviously not impersonating him, but his demeanor. He's very controlled in every single moment, and his delivery is very tempered. He doesn't give much away at all, but his firmness and directness tells you everything you need to know. So yeah, definitely I love Lucius Malfoy in the original movies.
What do you think about how Victor Rookwood's story played out in the game?
Well, I wish, you know, he was such a great character to play, and I wish he hadn't got deaded. I think a lot of people wanted to join forces with Rookwood. That was a pleasant surprise. You know, there's a lot of Slytherins out there, and we all wanted to rally with Rookwood, and I think it would have made a really great quest or a continuation of his story. Because ultimately, he wasn't for what Ramrock was doing, so there was a little bit of good in him, but there was enough evil there for us to get behind.
I was hoping they would bring him back as the villain for the next game. If they did do another game, would you be interested?
Oh my gosh, in a heartbeat, yeah. I've got my wand and everything. It's a Rookwood wand, so I'm ready.
What are your thoughts on what's going on at Warner Brothers right now? I heard there's been a lot of changes in leadership, and they've canceled Hogwarts Legacy project.
Yeah, there's just a lot going on in the industry, full stop. Let's be honest. I think there's a lot of very important meetings going on. I'm not surprised. There's a shuffle of priorities and things. Video games is still, you know, it's bigger than everything else. It's huge. But there still seems to be this focus on cinema and movies. And I don't know about how everyone else feels, but I would hate to lose cinema. I would hate to lose movies. I would hate to lose it. You know, the magic of going to the cinema. You know, there is a lot going on in Hollywood right now, and we still have a game strike on SAG-AFTRA, on SAG-AFTRA actors, which has been going on since July. We had the Screenwriters Guild. We've had SAG actors last year strikes. You know, it's just been a very unpredictable time in Hollywood. So it doesn't surprise me. It's a shame, of course, for franchises, for gamers, for fans. I know it's very frustrating. I would just say, please just hang in there. Ultimately, we all want to, you know, put out great work, and we all want the fans to have what they want, and to have all our beloved characters immortalized in more movies and video games. Warner Brothers, unfortunately, is just like what some of the other big studios. You know, they're having to do some shuffling around and get back on track. But there's many cogs to the wheel right now of what's going on.
What do you think about the use of AI in the industry? I think that's kind of part of what's going on.
Yes, absolutely. Huge, huge. It's not going to go away. I think it's come around so quick that I think it's kind of like the policing of it. It's a technology that is growing so fast. I don't think people can keep up with it. And it absolutely is going to replace a lot of people's jobs, or people are going to have to embrace it in their job. Voice actors, the same. That's part of why we're on strike at the moment, is because we're trying to figure out the language to protect actors specifically against AI, against, duplicating your voice. And it's no doubt about it. It is really phenomenal stuff. Now, having said that, it's going to open the doors to a lot of indie creators and filmmakers and video game creators, to a world that really was completely out of reach budget-wise. It was completely out of reach. It is going to create a new era of creators, filmmakers, and the studios know that too. You're going to be able to do studio level effects and game quality, movie quality. So again, it's just early stages, and that you do get that sense that everyone's sort of scrambling at the moment, but it's not a case of is it going to stick around. It's how do we use it ethically? How do we use it with as many people involved as possible?
Outside of Hogwarts Legacy, what role would you say that you're the most well known for?
That's probably Otter from Call of Duty. That was a massive game. It hit right before COVID. It literally came out the Christmas before COVID, 2019, and it just hit the mark. It was one of those games that really cemented Call of Duty, and it, I just happened to be a part of it at that time. And I think it's actually today, or maybe it was yesterday. No, today, April 4th. They're releasing the Verdansk map in Warzone, which was the map that I was in, the game that I was in when Warzone released. And it was massive. It was huge. So it's quite significant today. So, that's again, just got a huge community behind it and a legacy. Incredible amount of content that they produce every year. Amazing. I don't know how they do it. They must have so many people.
And what's the most recent project you've been involved in?
Well, I'm involved with several at the moment, but those I can't talk about. I can say that I played a few characters in the new Game of Thrones game that's coming out. I'm not sure if it's actually out or if it's in beta right now.
Is that a mobile game or is that for console?
I think it's a console game.
Okay.
Yes, I believe. New Game of Thrones game. So that's just coming out. I'm in a game called Gorn that's coming out, I think, on the 9th of April. Again, they all have their own little fan bases. And as I come board, because I'm not a gamer, as I come on board with projects, I realize, oh, wow, this is a popular franchise, or this is a popular game, or wow, people have been waiting for this for years. Because typically with the gaming world, we can come on quite late recording voices, and then the game's released, a few months down the line, depending on your involvement, of course. Yeah, so that makes it quite exciting in that respect. You'll go in and record some lines, and then you're like, oh wow, it's coming out in 2 months' time. So yeah, there's a few things, and then I'm working on a couple of very big games, which I can't announce at the moment, but they're in the works.
I'll be sure to be on the lookout for those two games. I know everyone's been loving your gorillas.
Oh yeah,
stuff. I was seeing in the chat. I guess that's what it is. Everyone's like gorillas. So
yes, right.
Question, okay.
I know. Incredibly popular. When I first jumped onto TikTok, people kept saying, "Gosh, you sound like Murdoch." And I was familiar with gorillas, but I wasn't familiar with the animated band members. And so, of course, I looked him up, and then people started saying, can you do that bit from this? And can you do this bit from that? And where the bloody hell have you been? And all those sketches. And it just got really, really popular. Now, of course, because it's not a character I voice, I'm very transparent that it's an impression, but it's a very, very popular impression. And I know the two voice actors I don't know that, I don't think they are actually even on TikTok. So I'm just sort of filling a void, I think, of content that Gorillaz fans want that isn't out there, that, you know, by doing these impressions seems to be scratching an itch. But they're really, really popular. And then we've got 2D as well. You know, 2D who's just behind me. Look, that's 2D there.
Right there. Oh my gosh, look, chat,
Yeah.
look.
And then we
Oh,
got
that's awesome.
And we got Murdoch Nichols here.
What? I've never seen that. So cool. I didn't know they had figurines. Wow.
I just got them. And they're great. Yeah. So yeah, they're really nice little additions. So yeah, they, you know, that's just a fun thing I do for TikTok, you know.
Yeah. Oh, one thing, my Discord, it's not really a question, but members of my Discord, they want you to know that they're plotting if we don't get Hogwarts Legacy 2. They're trying to figure out how we can just make the sequel in the mod maker.
Yes, right.
There's some really talented mod makers. I think they could do it. I really do. I really think Warner Brothers needs to start moving, or we're just gonna make the sequel. The fans are just gonna make the sequel.
I totally 100% agree. I mean, some of the mods I've seen, I'm just like, wow, that is really, really good. I mean, it looks like it's, you know, just studio quality. I've seen now so many scenes with Rookwood as Peeves and Peeves as Rookwood, and, you know, switching the characters around. And yeah, maybe they'll be able to come out with a sequel quicker. I don't know.
Now, Jason, have you read the Harry Potter books, or have you just seen the movies?
Just the movies. I remember in, let's see, what year was it? Must have been 1999. All right. I was working on Playhouse Disney as a presenter, and we were filming over at Livestream in Watford in England. Now that's now the current location of the Harry Potter experience, where they've got all the sets and the Great Hall, and it's incredible. If you haven't been, it's amazing. So, but we were filming there long, 20 odd years before that. And we were in one of the same sound stages that they had filmed some of the stuff from Harry Potter. Now, my friend, my co-star at the time, she was reading the Harry Potter book. And I distinctly remember her saying, "Have you read this book yet, this Harry Potter book?" And I don't know why I went there, but I went, what is that? Is that a gardening book? Who's Harry Potter?
Like pots, like pots.
Yes, I thought it was a gardening book of flowers.
Well, you know what my daughter calls it? She calls it Harry Pottery.
Harry Pottery, yeah.
Pottery, yeah, Harry Pottery.
So I just said, and I remember that was my first time ever hearing the name Harry Potter, and I thought it was to do with I thought it was to do with a gardening book. And I said, I haven't. And she went, "Oh my God, you've got to," but I never picked it up. And the movies came out, and I watched all the movies. I have seen those many, many times. I do. They're they're a real sort of comfort go-to movie. I can always, it's just one of those movies you can always just stick on, and and like the game, you always discover something new in it that you think, oh, I never noticed that little detail. Or
they remember you from Playhouse Disney Circle Time.
Oh wow, yeah. Well, that was that's 25 years ago now. Yeah, that was one of my starts in entertainment. I remember auditioning. It was very popular in America, Playhouse Disney, because it was for more kindergarten audience, and they were bringing it over to the UK, and so they had the cast in America. So they were trying to cast similar character types for the UK, and I landed the role of the storyteller, and it was called Circle Time. And the reason we were filming in Livesden, we had a massive 70-foot long house, Disney house, and we had a giant beanstalk slide out in the garden area. And that's where I used to read the stories around a big Mickey Mouse circle with the ears table. And we'd have child actors in, and all they wanted to do was play on the slide, as you can imagine. And it was very, very fond memories. And as I say, it's so funny that we were there at Livesden, which would later become Warner Brothers Studios, which would then become the home of Harry Potter in the UK. So
that was, you were like doing live acting for that show?
Yeah.
So how did you get into voice acting?
I came over to LA, really. I was doing voiceovers. I was doing a lot of live television voiceovers in the UK and commercials. But I came over to LA to really sort of study acting more. and then got into stand-up comedy, and then I got an agent through that, a voice acting agent. And when you're new in LA, any agent is great. So I was like, yeah, fantastic. And they just started putting me up for voice acting work. I remember one of my first ones, I got a role on a Lego movie, Hero Factory. There was 3, I think, in the end. And I was, that Jennifer Coolidge was a part of the cast, Henry Winkler, John Schneider, you name it. It was like a who's who. And I just thought, gosh, this is really fun work. I really liked it. And so it's just sort of grown from there, really. I never came out to LA, which is where I am now, to follow voice acting. I wanted to pursue my hosting more and do stand-up comedy, but it took me in the voice acting direction, and I just really like it. I because of the versatility. I think that's my inner child coming out, my inner playfulness, imagination. But you couldn't do that on camera. You couldn't play necessarily a robot or a Christmas tree or a SAS soldier. I didn't have to do any training. Just all right. Now you're an SAS soldier. Not that I wouldn't turn down a role as an SAS soldier, but yeah, it's just it just really stuck, and I really just enjoyed it. Bottom line, I love it. Yeah, I pretty much tried everything else: hosting, presenting, live theater, and then on camera and voice acting, stand-up comedy, improv. But it's what's good about it now, and this is what I encourage with people, that all now feeds into voice acting. It's great to have all those skills, even though you're in front of a microphone. All those skills play out at some point during your performance from project to project. So I do encourage everyone to get some, improv experience, especially, really, really helps.
You just did some a voiceover for like a Batman. You did like an edit for a Batman.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
that was really cool.
I've never done this before. It just appealed to me. So I've worked a lot with Warner Brothers over the years, and I saw this just pop up on TikTok. And I'm a big DC fan. I love DC. I'm not as familiar with Dark Legion, but the game looked fantastic. So I thought I would just do a reimagination, if you like, of their trailer. So I wrote a pretty much brand new script. And then I took the 4 trailers that they have, and I took the elements from each part of the trailer that I liked and did a re-edit of the trailer, and then did a new voiceover for it. And then I laid in some original music and some sound effects and things. These are the things I like to do. I love, doing production when I'm not voice recording. I just love doing production. I just find it like it's a bit like yourself, it's a digital artboard, and I get carried away sometimes. So yeah, I put that up yesterday. That was just a sort of a fun little assignment, if you like. What character have you voiced that was like the most difficult to perform? Definitely it was the Skaven, which are a race of rat people in Warhammer. I played Teclis. I played good and bad, and that's another case of playing multiple characters within a game. And I remember they said when I'd finished my Teclis lines, and he's just like this sort of princely lore master in the game, elven, and they said, "Oh, we've got these rat people. Can you do some lines for that?" And that was a really tough voice. That was all scratchy and all guttural, and and they wanted all the little rat noises, all those things. That really was. But we had left that till the end of the session, fortunately. But I do remember that did take a toll on my throat. There's just no way around that one when you're playing a rat person. If you could voice any character in the world, who would you choose? Who would I choose? Any character in the world? Gosh. I would love to, being a huge Star Wars fan, I would love to voice one of the droids in Star Wars. Yeah, I find I always those were my favorite characters growing up. Was R2D2 and C3PO. I just loved that chemistry they have, and the humor behind it. I just thought it was brilliant. And George Lucas, definitely modeled that on Laurel and Hardy, their dynamics. So yeah, I'd love to do some sort of a droid voice in one of the Star Wars franchises. Would be pretty cool.
See, Nick was asking, Jason, if you were a Hogwarts Legacy student during the Hogwarts Legacy era,
Yes.
you think you would be friends with Sebastian?
No, I probably wouldn't. No, I probably wouldn't have been friends. I think I would have been too busy in the room of requirement. I think that because I know growing up as a kid, I was very happy playing on my own. There's no need to feel sad about that. It was my choice. I could mix if I wanted to, but I was always very happy creating my own little worlds and playing on my own and, imaginary characters. So I think that Hogwarts would just be such a wealth of activities you could do. I don't think I would really need to sort of chum up with anyone. And Sebastian is a little bit of a wild card. He probably wouldn't be in my clique.
What house do you think you would be in?
Well, that's a good question. I have done the official, and I think on any given day I could fall into Gryffindor or Slytherin.
Well, because you're the sorting hat, so you could sort yourself into whatever house.
I could just sort myself anyway, yeah. Or I'd do what everyone else is doing. I'd just try every house and see which one, who had the nicest common room.
Yeah.
Which Slytherin do have a pretty cool common room.
They do. I would say, I really like the Slytherin common room. I love the water features and stuff because I really like that. I will give credit to Ravenclaw though, because they've got like the Whimsigoth celestial theme going on. So I understand why that's the favorite. They want you to choose. They say you can only pick one, 2D or Murdoch.
Oh, I'd do Murdoch. Murdoch all day. 2D takes too long to spit out what's on his brain. I'd definitely be Murdoch. Now it's fun to play both of them because they're so different, and I think that's why they work in those sketch environments. Because if you are going to write a sketch anyway, you'd have different characters, different perspectives, and I think they give 2D gives as good as he gets sometimes, but Murdoch does torture him a little bit on that front. But yeah, definitely Murdoch all day long.
If you were to voice a Marvel character, which one would you want it to be?
Ooh, to voice a Marvel character, I definitely would love to do. I'm probably, and again, this is more like realistically more of a Loki character. So I think he would be in my lane. Voicing Jarvis would be also fantastic.
Yeah.
Yes, I would like to voice.
I can totally see it. Yeah. Hear it. Yeah.
Hello, sir.
For sure.
Yes, Jarvis would be a wonderful a role to do. Yes.
There's so many superhero games. It's only a matter of time, Jason.
Well, I kind of maybe feel that too. If I just stick around long enough, eventually, maybe I'm in the right place. Just got to get the right time.
And you did that VR game too. I've never played a VR game. I don't have this headset, but it was like you. That was another game where you just voiced everybody.
Oh, Escaping Wonderland.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Again, that was they brought me on for Mole, the main character, and I think they had seen some of my work from Hogwarts Legacy, so they knew I could possibly do a few more other roles, and again it was just like, hey, could you can we show you the Mad Hatter, and can you come up with the Mad Hatter, and the Mad Hatter, big fat teeth like that. So it was all wow. And so you just sort of, sometimes the artwork leads you in the direction of the voice. So we did the Mad Hatter, and then the Cheshire Cat. And again, it's just, Alice in Wonderland world is again very rich with characters. Yeah, that game's done very well. It's been nominated for several awards, and I'm very fortunate myself and Joe Gaudette, who another very talented voice actor that was on it. We both got nominated for our roles in that, which was
congratulations.
Yeah, it was fabulous. Really great. Lovely game. Very good. And I love the fact that it centers around mental health, which I'm a huge advocate for. And I think it's lovely to see a video game embracing that, because, definitely the gaming world is a great escape, a healthy escape for a lot of people. And, So that game really embraced that. And yeah, kudos to the Cortopia Studios for putting that game out and letting me be a part of it.
I would definitely check that game out if I had the headset.
Yeah,
I could figure out how to play it. I would definitely play that game. It looks so cool.
Yeah, lovely world.
And you were in Genshin recently too. I know a lot of people play Genshin. Chat. Anybody in chat play Genshin? I think everybody plays Genshin, right? So I heard your voice in that.
Yeah, I'd heard of it, but I didn't know how big it was. And we did the Simulanka, I think it was the summer quest, and again, Grandpa Armand. That was interesting because I got bought into that as the narrator. They'd heard my voice and really just liked me, so I did the narration lines for that, which were really funny. They were very well written, and I love humor and comedy and stuff. And then they said, "Oh, we've got another character." So I literally had to come up with Grandpa Armand on the spot. They said, "We've got one more character for you, Grandpa Armand." And I said, "Oh, okay." And I said, "What? Who's Grandpa Armand?" And they said, "Well, he's a paper mache hamster." And I went, "Of course he is."
Of course he is.
Yeah. And so I didn't have any artwork. I just had to imagine.
Just imagine a paper mache hamster.
Yeah, paper mache.
What would that sound
hamster.
like?
Yeah, a wise, So I just sort of a little bit sort of bins and.
I heard it. Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit of bins in there.
Yeah.
Well, yes. So I came up with Grandpa Armand. Yes, and so that's sometimes
exactly what I imagined a paper hamster would sound like.
Yeah,
it
worked out really, really well. And as voice actors, you sometimes come up with completely fresh characters, but other times characters you've done before have inspire you to tweak them just a little bit, and then you've got a new voice for another character.
The total characters you voiced in Hogwarts Legacy, what was it, like 27, 28? We talked about it one time.
Yes, I think it was 26 in total.
What would be like the one that most people would be surprised?
Garnoff, maybe Garnoff.
Yeah, Garnoff. Because you did 2 goblins, but they sound very different.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, two goblins, and Garnoff was just
the mooncalves. Yeah,
you found my mooncalf. Oh, Garnoff.
Yeah, the little cute little mooncalf.
Yeah, very cute, very cute.
Love that quest.
Yeah,
it was Biscuit the mooncalf.
Biscuit the mooncalf, yeah. That was. I tell you what does surprise people though is Peeves, because that's quite a big stretch from like the Sorting Hat to Peeves. So a lot of and Rookwood, of course, not just character wise but voice wise, very very different. So a lot of people are like, "What? You did Peeves as well?"
What was like your favorite Harry Potter location? If you could only visit one, would you visit Hogwarts or would you like to check out Hogsmeade?
Azkaban. Let's go to Azkaban.
Well, then you should just hang out with Sebastian. You said you didn't want to hang out.
Yeah, I know. He's
hang out with him. You'll
his new home. I think obviously Hogwarts itself, but Ministry of Magic would be a pretty awesome place. That's just so beautiful. It just looks so gorgeous. I mean, they've got the Ministry of Magic now in Orlando, haven't they?
Yeah. Have you ever been to any of the Harry Potter theme parks?
No. As I say, I went to the Leavesden one long before I was in Hogwarts Legacy, and that was spectacular because that was all the real sets and props and things. But and I've been to, I've been to Universal Studios here. I've been to the Hogwarts here, which is pretty incredible. I know they've scaled the castle down, but how they've done the cheap perspective on it, it looks so good. So I would love to go to the new Universal exhibition and see all that other world that they've created, especially Ministry of Magic. It
looks really cool. Yeah, what they've previewed so far. Yeah.
Yes.
We do have another TikTok Armageddon maybe happening tomorrow.
Yeah.
No one talks about it anymore. But if something happens, where else can your fans find you?
YouTube mainly, really. My two go-tos are YouTube and TikTok. Yeah, I tend to stay away from a lot doing anything on Instagram and that. TikTok's just it's just my place. I just love it here. We'll work through this next little bump in the road. Yeah,
I think so too, because there's not as much panic this time.
No, everyone's really chill about it this time. Everyone's like,
Yes. We'll do one last question. Levian wants to know: have you voiced any documentaries?
Yes, I've done my fair share of documentaries, mainly in the UK. I did a whole series for BBC Worldwide. I did a what was the series called? oh, it's something like 1,000 destinations or 1,000 places to see or something like that. Yeah, I haven't done anything recently, but early on I did a few sort of documentaries, and I did a lot of stuff for E! Entertainment. I did a lot of celebrity news and things like that. So again, as the versatility of a voice actor, you're definitely still open for those kind of opportunities and stuff, for sure.
I want to give a big thank you to my mod who showed up today at HPF, everyone's in Discord, and of course, huge thank you to you, Jason. I really can't appreciate you enough. We're always talking about how you're the glue that holds our fandom together.
Ah, thank you.
And it means a lot to us that you really come on and talk to us and answer our questions.
Well, it's the same back at the community. I mean, you know, I love all the fandoms and communities that I'm slowly becoming a part of. And you guys are the glue for us. You keep these franchises alive, and you're an inspiration to us on where the direction we should go in and what we should be doing. So I just hope more and more studios listen to you guys and create the kind of content and characters that you love. So yeah, it's a good healthy relationship, for sure.
It is. It's a wonderful relationship, and we really appreciate you. That's what everyone in my Discord wanted me to know most of all, is just how much they appreciate you and how big of fans they all are.
Ah, thank you so much. Well, it's lovely to answer their questions, and well, they know where to find me. They know where to find me. There's no hiding.
Everyone make sure you're following Jason. I'm pretty sure everyone is, because everyone that follows my page knows who you are.
Wonderful. Well, thank you.
And thank you for going live with me. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, we'll see you back at Hogsmeade.
Yep, see you.
Butterbeers are on me.